better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Trump Claus is coming to town. Hey, boys and girls, welcome to Debate Eve.
Let's get ready to rumble! You can't handle the truth.
Well, as you can tell, singing is not in my future as a career. Hey, welcome to the Afternoon Drive. Yours truly, Pastor Marty, welcoming you. Thank you so much for joining us. Please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Make sure that you check your subscription status because YouTube from time to time feels the need to help me by unburdening you from your subscription to this channel. You didn't necessarily unsubscribe you. YouTube will, especially if, it's been like an hour since you've watched one of my videos. It's amazing how helpful they are in that area. So check your subscription status. And once you are subscribed, make sure that you smack the bell, click the word all to get notification of my rants, my ravings, my undeniably flawless reasonings. Thank you so much for liking this video. Please share it to your social media platforms. We are not dependent upon the YouTube algorithm to do anything to let people know that we're here, so I need your help. Thank you so much for being a part of the Afternoon Drive. Well, this is it. In just a few hours, Donald Trump will debate the installed Democratic nominee for El Presidente. That would be the one, Kamala Harris. She was not voted on by anyone to be a presidential nominee. She was picked, selected, and installed. Kind of like Joe Biden was. Well, we have to be careful. We could talk about all types of corruption, about all kinds of things, but what happened in 2020 was pure. It was flawless. It doesn't matter that there's overwhelming evidence that election cycle after election cycle after election cycle, the Democrats rigged their own primaries. That's how Biden got to be the nominee over Bernie Sanders. That's how Hillary Rodham Clinton got to be the nominee over Bernie Sanders. That's how Kamala Harris got to be the nominee over anybody. Picked, chosen, installed, and even during a fictitious primary season where people are going out and voting, they've got super delegates that nobody's ever seen. Nobody knows who they are. And when you ask, well, how many of these super delegates do you have? Basically, the answer is as many as we need to get the person we want to be the nominee in there. So they can do all of those shenanigans during a primary, but of course, they're incapable of doing that during the general because, after all of these crooks and these criminals and this deviants who have done everything to deceive the American people to get where they are, to hold on to power when you've got, they're so decrepit like a Nancy Botox Pelosi that to this day, with all of the millions she's made on her insider trading, you would at least think she could get to a real dentist and some false teeth that actually fit. So her constantly doing this while she's talking and explaining, her latest lie and trying to take victory laps over backstabbing her good buddy Joe Biden in the back to get him out of the way. You don't think they know how to mess on the general level? Who are we kidding here? Come on. But I'm not going to go there right now. We won't point out the fact that Hillary Rodham Clinton, the entire time Donald Trump was in office, referred to him as the illegitimate president because it had been stolen from her by Russian bots. As Camilla thinks she's a Hottie Harris trying to make a play for Georgia. Georgia, where Stacey Abrams didn't lose once, but twice, still insists that rigged, man, it's rigged. But, absolutely every election, stellar, perfect, serene. Especially 2020, it's the most perfectest election we've ever had. I said all that. See, I'm in a really good mood today because Donald Trump is debating tonight Kamala Harris. Now, let me just say this. Every conservative pundit predicting blowout, yada, 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 yada. Be careful. Be careful. We know she is Kamala. We know that she is a word salad, that, there are things that certainly play into our favor right now. Microphones are muted, so she won't get her, I'm talking. She won't, have an opportunity to let Donald Trump overtalk her and, allow all of the female pundits to spin that as he was mansplaining her and he was disrespectful, and there won't be any of that. They got to stand. They can't sit. No props, no notes. There are certain things that hurt Donald Trump in this. He feeds off a live audience and, their applause and their laughter. So he doesn't have that. But all in all, she doesn't do well when she's got to speak from the heart. Well, you got to have one to be able to do that. When she has got to, no teleprompter, no cheat sheets. She's got to do this. Now, supposedly she has been in debate preparation for a week, right down to where they have somebody there dressed as Donald Trump, wearing a Trump wig and a Trump-type suit with a really long tie. And she's got the people helping her that helped Hillary Rodham Clinton. Did she not watch the debates between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton? Maybe using the same methodology that Hillary used, and even the same person that played Donald Trump to help Hillary wasn't the smartest thing to do. But then again, look who she picked to be her VP. Tim Walz, who is beyond weird. He's like creepy dude in a white van cruising playgrounds. Creepy weird. That all said, don't underestimate her. Don't underestimate her. She gets her moments. There's plenty of footage out there of how she was on Senate committees and, punching and being able to get her shots in. So don't underestimate her. Don't do that. But, Mr. President, just get her talking. Get her talking about her policy, and you got to be able to push back because she's going to lie and claim certain things as facts, and then she's going to state that certain things that you're saying are lies and distortions, and you need to be able to respond back with facts and the truth. And be Donald Trump. Don't let her goad you into a needless fight over nothing. This president, with his hair and his attitude, doesn't even look like a president. Don't let her goad you into stupid fights. Don't. She knows that you don't like having your ego hit, so don't give her that satisfaction. Stick to the policies. Boat anchor her to all of Joe Biden's disastrous policies, and even as people like Joe Scarborough and his pole dancing wife Mika Brzezinski are still trying to gaslight the American people that this is like the greatest economy ever under Joe Biden, and it was wretched under Donald Trump, which is all a bunch of bullhock. People know what they were paying for groceries under your administration, what they were paying at the gas pump, that they could afford a mortgage payment, and they can't afford any of those things now. You just have to keep reminding the American people she was part of that and is part of that. And her reckless spending with Joe Biden is what created the inflation that's killing us. Talk about her disdain for the border wall, and now she's actually featuring your border wall in her TV commercials. Stick to the point, get her talking, get her blathering, because she won't have the teleprompter there to help her. She just won't. Now, understand this. They're setting the bar real low for her, just like they tried to set the bar low for Joe Biden, and then they were all stunned to realize, oh my word, he really is a mental defective. Well, duh. So they're trying to lower expectations. And what they're hoping to do is that she's at least coherent enough, whether or not her answers make any sense or actually answer the question. They want to be able to spin this as soon as it's over. She went toe-to-toe with Donald Trump, and she's the victor. So I'm going to do something kind of radical here. join me in praying that, just let Kamala reveal herself. Just she won't have the teleprompter, and this has worked up anxiety in her. She does not do well in these scenarios. That sit-down interview she did with CNN that was like 40 minutes and they edited it down to 18. I made a comment, what if they got her drug done? Biden, they had to pop him up and prep him up and pump him up to get him functional and coherent. And that she struck me as they were trying to bring her down. I made that as a passing comment, had no inside baseball information on it. Since then, dozens and dozens and dozens of vloggers, both on the conservative side and the liberal side of the aisle, are all saying the same thing. Boy, her eyes look dilated. There's, former alcoholics and drug addicts that are, giving their assessment of what they saw with Kamala Harris. They were all like, there's something off with her. Yeah, I think she gets angst and anxiety and doesn't like to, be robotic, because that's her personality, to be scripted and robotic. And so I think she drinks a little wine and they give her a Xanax or a Valium or something, and voila. So what's her cocktail that they're getting ready for to make her somewhat presentable for 90 minutes in an absolute fear situation for her with no teleprompter? This is going to be Kamala speaking. Now, again, she's had like over a week of debate. They've said how they turned the hotel into, an actual replica of the studio. All that money. What we understand, Donald Trump's been sitting at a table with advisors and they've been going over things. And of course, Tulsi Gabbard is there to kind of give them an idea of this is how Kamala will say this and respond this way. But he isn't, like building a TV studio. This, it should just show you that Kamala is a method actor. Right down to the cringe moments that are not spontaneous, but completely scripted, where she walks into a restaurant and a woman's standing there. I can't believe Kamala Harris is here. And she walks up and she gives her a mamala hug. Because they're trying to make Kamala likable and presentable. She's not. She can't keep staff. She had a 92% overturn rate of staff as VP. People don't like her. She's not likable, and she's constantly screaming and yelling at staff who prepare things for her, get materials ready for her so that she can walk into a situation and, have the information and know what to do. She doesn't read it, doesn't have time for it, just wants the bullet points. And then when it all blows up on her, she goes back and she screams and yells at staff for not getting her ready and making her look like a fool. No, honey, you look like a fool anyway. So even though they're like rehearsing with her, there's no guarantee that this is all sticking. And you're talking about you're cramming for the exam of a lifetime in a few hours. Donald Trump doesn't cram because Donald Trump is telling you what he actually thinks. Not what's been focus tested. She's going to try to trip him up on issues like abortion. All he has to say is, listen, I've made it abundantly clear that I am pro-life, but I will not support a national ban on abortion. What I wanted to do was exactly what Ronald Reagan wanted to do. We wanted to put this back in the hands of the states and let the states determine this. Now, I will say this, that the radical concept that abortion ought to be legal right up to the moment of birth, that is absolutely abhorrent to every American. But we will not support a national ban on abortion. And then look in the camera, Mr. Trump, and say something like this. And by the way, Kamala Harris, she's never going to sign anything guaranteeing that abortion is the law of the land. You know why? It's a grift. They make way too much money on fundraising from this. Kamala's own campaign admits that abortion has been the juggernaut of their fundraising. And there are all these pro-abortion groups out there. This is how their CEOs and their people make money and live in nice homes and drive Mercedes-Benz off the donations of Democrats wanting to keep abortion legal. If she ever signs a bill making abortion the absolute law of the land, then all these other organizations disband, go away, and these people are unemployed and the gravy train ends. Think about it. Since Roe versus Wade, Jimmy Carter was in office, Bill Clinton was in office, Barack Obama was in office, Joe Biden was in office, and at times in their administrations, they had a majority in the Senate, in the House. They could have codified Roe versus Wade and made it the law of the land. They didn't do it. Why? Bang her back. So here's my advice to all of us. Let's enjoy this tonight. Understand, if she comes out functionally more coherent than Joe Biden, obviously the lying media will declare this a victory. I do think there's going to be that moment, and I think Trump will get a body check on her. I really do. This is going to force him to be lean, mean, and linear by muting the microphone, but it's going to let him stay on point, focused, sharp, razor sharp. He's very good extemporaneously. He's good with the comeback. He is a TV personality. That is where she is going to be at a huge disadvantage. And okay, she got her shot in on Mike Pence. Come on, this is Mike Pence. Mike Pence. You know what my personal feelings are about Mike Pence. I'll leave that to the side. Even before those were my personal feelings about Mike Pence, watching him through the years is about as exciting as watching paint dry. You know, the little body check she got in on Mike. Excuse me, I'm speaking. See, Donald Trump would have responded immediately with something like, and saying nothing. Trump can go, he can punch and he can counter punch. So watch this tonight. I can tell you this, what is absolutely the truth is behind the scenes, the reality is hitting the Democrats that by backing Kamala, they have backed Joe Biden again. And the reality is now caught up to the American people. They're past the hype, they're past the honeymoon, and they understand, yes, it's time to go forward and leave Biden and Kamala behind. And we go forward by going back to what Donald Trump did that made all of our lives better.